Welcome to It's Art, Let's Talk About It, a podcast sponsored by the Museum of Western Art in Kerrville, Texas. Located in the heart of the Texas Hill Country, the museum is dedicated to the preservation and promotion of the American West, especially through the art of the West. In this podcast series, we will visit with artists, art collectors, and gallery directors working in the Western art genre. We'll talk about the history and heritage of Western art, and we'll talk about why talking about Western art is so important. I'm Darrell Beauchamp, the Executive Director of the museum, and I'll be your host for It's Art, Let's Talk About It. The podcast is a member of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network.
In this episode, Darrell welcomes Shanna Kunz, a plein air artist from Ogden, Utah. I know you'll enjoy this episode of It's Art, Let's Talk About It.
Hey, we're joined today on It's Art, Let's Talk About It by our friend Shanna Kunz, a landscape artist from Ogden, Utah. Shanna, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I've had such a great time.
You're in Kerrville, Texas this week for a workshop and seem to have gone really well.
It has. We had a lot of fun. I pushed them.
A lot of attentive students.
Yeah.
Have you been teaching a long time?
A long time. I've been teaching almost since I started painting. I would teach what I learned when I went to school. I would teach it as a means of really learning something and learning the whys of everything.
Well, let's back up.
Okay.
How did you get started in painting? I ask this question of every guest because it varies greatly. I have artists who say, I didn't pick up a paintbrush till I was 50 years old. And then I've had others like my friend Jack Sorensen, the CA artist. He said he was drawing on his mother's walls in the kitchen and getting in trouble. And so, how did you start? Give us some backstory on Shanna Kunz.
Okay, I did do the drawing on walls as well. I think that's kind of the common denominator with artists is we love to draw. When the other kids are out playing sports, we're sitting over in a corner with pencil and paper. But that being said, I did not think that it could be a career choice.
Right.
So every year in school, I always took art. It was always my favorite thing to do. But it wasn't until I was 29 that I was given a watercolor class for my 29th birthday.
Okay.
And I went to the class and enjoyed it so much, I came home and said, this is what I want to do the rest of my life.
This is it, huh?
Yeah, this is it. It was a game-changing day.
Now, what point in your life were you there? You're an adult at 29.
I am adult.
You were working somewhere else, doing something else?
I did. I worked in the courts and worked for the county attorney's office. I was a stenographer. But that's not a fun job to do.
Yeah.
Like, you're seeing cases that were pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
And I had been painting for a while. And then if my career finally took off enough, I just went, ooh, I can look at murder cases or I can paint beautiful trees.
Yeah.
So that kind of sent me that way. But I went back to school as an adult. I painted in watercolor for quite a while, and I knew I wanted to do something much more serious than just be a hobby artist. I knew that this was a mission for me. And so I went back to school in my 30s as a grown-up, and I went to Utah State, which had a fabulous art department. If you're familiar with Glenn Edwards.
Sure. Yeah,
and
right.
Adrian Van Suchlen, and I drove an hour up and an hour back every day.
Where were you living at the time?
I was living in Roy, which is the outskirts of Ogden, but Utah State is up in Logan. So it was
north. Right.
It was an hour driving back up and back, but the program was just a fantastic.
Are you from Utah?
Yes.
I mean, that's home?
That started as home. My dad worked for the Forest Service, which has a lot to do with why I paint what I paint. And in order to make it up the ladder at the Forest Service, you have to move. So by the time I was 15, I'd live in 16 different houses. So we moved a lot, and my dad...
Sounds like me. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I went to 4 different high schools, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So did I.
Yeah.
But we went to museums, and my dad is really big on history, and that was so fascinating to me that when I started painting, I really delved into art history.
Dad's still with us?
Oh, yeah, my dad's still with me.
Say hi, Dad.
I sure will.
Say hi to Dad. Yeah.
So he is a fly fisherman, and So was his
We're
dad.
We're going to have to get together with Dad. Yeah.
Oh, you got to come to Utah. You should see our streams.
Yeah.
So our summer vacations were spent around camping and fishing. And my dad had these special maps that everybody else didn't get because he worked for the Forest Service. So we just explored.
Who encouraged you in the family?
For art?
Yeah.
Probably my dad.
Was it? Okay.
Although it took a while before they were encouraging.
Or were you just always there and you didn't need the encouragement?
I loved it so much that...
But afraid that you couldn't make a living out of high school, college.
Yes.
You just were afraid you couldn't make a living, so you were a stenographer for the courts.
Yep. I got a real job.
I see it all the time. Architect.
Absolutely.
People who are doing anything in the world but fine art to make a living. And then one day they make that bold decision, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be the only way I
And
do
it is a jump. It is a leap of faith.
What's that quote that it's a great life if you can stand the first 40 years of it? You can survive the first 40 years.
Still working on that.
Being an artist.
Yeah.
But watercolor first, and then at some point you made the transition into oil.
Yeah, and I made that transition because watercolor at the time was really during the print market, and having a painting behind glass became a problem for the galleries. And my galleries kept on just really pushing me to try oil. And it's kind of funny because my watercolors look a little like an oil and my oils look a little like a watercolor. But
I've heard that from other watercolor artists as well.
You find your style because of where you come from. You don't go looking for a style. It finds you.
How would you describe your work?
I like spontaneity. I like to put in some abstractions and really play with that negative positive shapes to build my shapes. Landscapist. And
pretty much exclusively?
Yeah, that's what I put out. When I'm home, I do a lot of still life, and I went to school for figure, so I studied figure for 3 years, but the camping and the fishing is just new. Yeah,
I've noticed during this workshop a lot of streams, a lot of creek sides with trees and majestic things in the background.
It's Utah.
Atmospheric. So Utah is the big enforcer of your
Absolutely.
values there. Yeah.
Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana.
Still travel a lot?
Still travel at least a week a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So talk about this group of 8 wild women.
Oh, it's so
is
fun.
Is it 8?
It is. There's
I think
8
I counted
of us.
8. Yeah, and they're called the Wild Women.
The Wild Women, and it's not because we're, that kind of wild.
But they include some people that are just dynamite.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you guys are all together in a group. Elizabeth Robbins, for example. I think the world of her work. Her still lifes are just
so good.
So good.
And Kim Lortier.
And Kim and
Cindy Barron. Just the whole.
Don't forget any of them now. Let's name them. Cindy and Kim and
Susie Baker. Ramona Youngquist out of Oregon. Stephanie Marzella out of South Carolina. We all kind of bring, and Lori McNee from Sun Valley, Idaho.
Is that all 8?
That should be 8.
Yeah. Okay. And you get together? It was
kind of fun. Oh, we get together. That's the whole point of it. It started out because a lot of us have little travel trailers that we go paint.
Right.
And the conversation came up between Susie and I that let's take our trailer somewhere and let's just spend a week really getting to know the land and go to different places. And we came up with Wild Woman because we're all at that point in our career. All of us have been painting at least 30 years. We've been doing this as a living, like forever. And our kids are all raised. They're away from home. We get to spend all that time on ourselves now and be adventurous in ways that when you're raising children, that doesn't happen. Right. So it's almost like you feel as a woman, as a mom, you're playing makeup.
Is it harder to be a woman in the art business than a guy? We hear that a lot about life in general, right? I mean, women have to do more. Was it Ginger Rogers said she did everything Fred Astaire did, except she did it backwards and in heels. When they danced, it was all... Yeah. Do you feel like sometimes you're back dancing backwards and in heels?
It certainly was that way for the first part of my career because I did have kids at home and I was doing so many things. I still am doing so many things. I thought that as you got older, things would slow down, but they don't slow down. and I don't want it to slow down. So it is you're multitasking a lot more, I think. But, I'm not a man, so I can't speak from that kind of experience. But I think it's a little harder for women to be taken seriously.
Although we're seeing, and I'm seeing in the museum world, more and more women.
Yeah.
There's an explosion. Those 7 you just mentioned yourself, my goodness, Denise LaRue-Malky and Rachel Brownlee and Carol Arnold, and just listen, the 3 students you had in the club. Yeah, I see more and more women.
Yeah.
A lot of women.
Yes.
But early on, especially in the Western art market, when it was more cowboys and Indians, the Suzanne Bakers of the world.
Yes.
Not to be confused with your friend, our friend Susie. But it was tough, man. There was just not very many women.
I think that they were always there. I just think that they maybe didn't have the confidence to get the work out there.
But we're seeing more and more of that today.
Oh, so much more.
Do you think women paint differently than men?
I think that they probably do approach it a little bit differently.
If you had 3 students, you had 3 women in your class, if those had been men, would that class have been different? The approach? I'm trying to get, I guess what I'm trying to get
I can see a masculine style versus a little more feminine style. And it's not like you set out to do something more feminine or masculine. It's so intrinsically who you are.
Your work is very atmospheric, and it's very
and a little quiet.
Emotional and quiet,
Yeah.
right? And for those of you playing along at home, we're going to put pictures of Shanna's work at the bottom of the webpage there on the link. Our guest today on It's Art, Let's Talk About It is Shanna Kunz, and it's always interesting to get to meet and know an artist in person. I've known of your work for years. I've known you electronically for a while, as we talked about this and being in the Roundup and those sorts of things, but getting to meet you this week, it's always fun.
Oh, it's so much fun. The art world is a beautiful world.
You seem to enjoy it, and that's what that's where I was headed with this, is that I heard more laughter from your class and from you this week than I've heard in a long time. You guys were hooping it up, just having a ball. It was
you
joke after joke.
You can't take yourself too seriously.
Talk about that. So your training in the arts is formal.
Yes.
But then you've never quit training. Who are the people in your career that you've studied? Who are the people? Who are those shout-out people that influenced you?
I can tell you one experience that I had. I got invited to be a guest artist at the Maynard Dixon show back in 2010. And I think I probably wasn't quite ready to the people. There was a big guns. And it was the first time I got to really look at my work and see where I was as an artist and where I wanted to be. And it was vastly different. And while I was there, Dan Pinkham came up to me and said, "You know what? I am teaching in a week. Come join my class." So I went home immediately and bought my tickets. So I decided at that time that I would take there were 3 greats that offered something very different. Each one of them offered something very different. Okay. Dan Pinkham is just poetry. I studied with Matt Smith, that his technical abilities.
Matt's super. Yeah.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
And then the one that was closest to my own sensibilities was Tim Lawson.
No kidding.
So I went and studied with all 3 of them, and then after that just dug my heels in. And the only way you get better is by working really hard.
Okay, let's talk about that. There's young people listening to this podcast. We have 4,500 listeners at any given time who listen to a podcast in the first couple of weeks, and a good number of them are young people.
Yes.
Which the demographic has kind of surprised me, right?
Yeah.
That this podcast but young people have come up to me all the time. I'm an aspiring artist, and I said, what do you want me to ask these artists? If they could sit down from you, what would you be asking them? And they all want to know, what's more important, formal education or time on task? What's more important, workshops or getting out and just doing it? If you could give advice to a young person?
What has propelled my art
What's helped you
the most through the years has been working in series. And
explain that.
So I love trees, obviously, if you look at my artwork. And I might do a series of a dozen cottonwood trees and how the light affects it and where they sit in space. And then I might do a dozen pine tree series, but doing them in series makes me research. So it's not about painting a masterpiece. It's about learning with every single piece, researching with every single piece, trying something new, trying something different. And if I'm working in a series and researching that particular theme or an idea over and over again, somewhere in there the magic happens, and a really great piece will come out. But it's not, I don't go into it thinking, this is going to be a masterpiece. I'm going to work at this until it's done. I'm just always studying. I'm always looking for something.
Well, it sounds like you've got to have knowledge of the subject matter and then a lot of muscle memory.
Absolutely.
A lot of time on task.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that the intellect that goes with really knowing your subject matter is extremely important, because that frees you up to express it and still have it be believable, still have it be honest.
And the answer to that question varies everywhere from one of our podcast guys said, just paint quick, man, get it down and put it out there, and then just keep messing with it and fix it and throw it away if you don't like it and start again. One is very meticulous and study bound, and it's all about the details of it, and I'm fascinated by that.
I think I'm kind of in between, except for as a watercolorist, you really have to have a plan of action.
Right.
Because there's not a lot of room to go in and make changes.
You still do watercolor?
Oh, I do.
Do you?
I do. In fact, I'm going to put 4 in a show that I've got in January in Bend, Oregon, and I'm really excited to kind of get back to them again. It does help my oils get stronger. It's kind of
I think
vice
watercolorists,
versa.
and I told this to John and Edith Maskey, are both watercolorists, and they're in our Roundup show. So shout out to John and Edith. And I think it's hard. I've tried all of this, right? I'm not good at it, but I've tried it. And watercolor was just a sloppy, stinking mess for me. I had no control.
It's very process-oriented.
And it's very process-oriented, not a process-oriented kind of guy. I don't think the watercolorists get enough love in the art world.
I took what I learned about making plans and building parameters and boundaries within a piece and put that right to my oils. So it might, in the beginning, feel a little mechanical because I've got my palette that I've chosen. I have my value patterns considered. I have my atmospheric perspective considered before I even start. And then, but if I can keep that organized 90% of the way through, then that last 10% I can just play. I can throw color and I can try
talk about
something
your process.
different.
You do plein air, I know that.
I do a lot of plein air.
A lot of plein air. So you, with the wild women out there, you guys meet and that's you paint. And,
yes.
But you work a lot from reference photos?
When I'm in the studio, I work from reference photos and plein air studies.
What's your typical day look like?
I wish I was a 5 o'clock in the morning person, but I'm not. So I usually roll out of bed about 7:30.
Yeah.
I'm usually at the easel by 9:30.
Okay.
And I put long days in. I'm usually there till about 6. And then the rest of the evening, I got my iPad in my lap, doing more research, finding more paintings. I love American painters. We enter painting in a very different manner. Europeans are very controlled. They've gone through atelier programs usually.
Sure.
Americans jump in with both feet. We're just spontaneous, instant gratification. So the people that I study the most have been American painters.
Okay, so in addition to the 3 that you studied with, who out there painting today inspires you?
Painting today that's alive, besides those 3.
And the 7 women you like, obviously.
Oh, my
works are
Lord,
all
yes.
Inspired by them, or you wouldn't keep getting together with them.
They definitely inspire me. And it's really fun to get together with them because we do talk masters. We ask ourselves, if you could study with one person, what would it be? And it's really so interesting that we're all so different. We feel so different. If I could study with one, I kind of missed the boat with Fred Cumming. He was an English, really abstract painter. I did get one night to pick Russell Chatham's brain, and that was wonderful. I got to
knows a little bit about art.
It was a lot about art.
Yeah,
I think Skip Wickham.
Really?
Okay. If I could go to an in-person workshop, it'd probably be Skip.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many great painters out there.
That's what I find in this business as a museum director is that, boy, there's just so many good painters.
So many.
And there's so many bad ones. And I get to deal with both sides of it as somebody who
I'm
comes
sure
in.
you do.
They come in the door presenting their work, right? What do you think? And a lot of times it's work that could be good and might be good if they would just quit doing it only on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. It's something you have to do every day.
And you have to, it's who you are, not what you do.
It's an entire lifestyle.
Do you feel that way?
Oh, absolutely. Everything in my life revolves around art, sometimes much to my husband's detriment. But yeah,
Hi, honey.
everything. If I go out in the yard work, I'm looking for beautiful shapes in my garden. Everywhere I go, I'm looking at color, looking at atmosphere. You can't, can't turn it off.
What's more important? Color, contrast, values? What's that thing that students should be working on?
Value always does all the work.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy really close compressed value ranges in a piece. It's kind of my thing to try and be as subtle as possible.
So there's a student sitting out there right now with a bunch of paint in front of her, and she's saying, okay, boy, where should I start? What could I do? What advice would you give her? Work on values?
Work on values, really.
Put it down and see how many different shades you can get out of.
Really organize your design, because that design is the thing that's going to hold your painting together. No amount of pretty paint is going to make a design that doesn't work successful. So that design that you come up with,
composition,
the composition that you have, holding those values together so that there is some organization and not chaos on a painting. And that's saying a lot, because there's a lot of really beautiful palette knife painters that have chaos. But if they've done it well, you can still find the quiet areas in the painting.
Yeah, we've talked about that with Wolgansky, for example.
Yes.
He just throws lots and lots of paint on but you can see underneath it, composition is there.
But his pattern, his values are so close in range with those change of temperatures that
you squint, you don't even see it.
No, you don't see it. You feel it.
You feel it, yeah.
Yeah. And to me, that is a really great painting, is one that you feel. Not technically proficient, enough technical that the artist knows what they're doing and knows how to be able to manipulate that in order to create a stronger emotion.
Brush or palette knife, both?
I do both. I use both because I really like thick and thin.
Because there's some who will use only one or the other.
Yes, there are.
But there's a great many who use both, obviously.
Yeah.
I think that's where the majority of people are. Size preference?
Oh, a small painting for me is usually a 16 by 20.
Really?
I really like to paint larger, and not massively large, but 30 by 40s are really comfortable for me.
Really? That's usually for a lot of painting. I guess it's because your comfort level's there. But for a lot of painters, they get beyond 1624, something like that. They're stretching their ability to.
Yeah, I struggle more with the small ones.
Do you really?
Because I find that my brain tightens up.
Really?
And I have a hard time being as liberated when I'm painting small.
What's next for Shanna?
I've been traveling this entire summer, so I'm really excited. I got 3 months at home, and I'm getting ready for a show at the Mockingbird Gallery in Bend, Oregon.
Okay.
A 3-person show with.
Shout out to them then.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Tell us about the Mockingbird.
Oh, it's a great gallery. His caliber of artists is just incredible, and he is so supportive. The whole staff is so supportive of the artists. So when you have somebody in your corner, it makes a huge difference.
So if you're out and about in Bend, Oregon, stop and see the Mockingbird Gallery. Yeah.
The show is, I think, January 3rd is the reception date.
Okay.
So it'll be hanging all of January.
So 2026, you've got a show in Bend, Oregon. And then what's the rest of your year look like?
I always teach in Mississippi in February, and I really enjoy that. It's a large group, and usually a 4-day, sometimes even a 5. So we really delve into concepts. I enjoy that. My grandchildren live in New Bern, North Carolina.
Okay.
So I try and get out there and paint the East Coast when I can. And I have a gallery in Blowing Rock that called Martin House Gallery.
Okay, I was going to ask you about galleries and
Yeah.
representation.
I usually send the North Carolina paintings kind of go upwards towards him. But I have to say, I've gotten really stubborn. I want to paint what I want to paint when I want to paint it. So it's to think that I'm only going to stay with one genre for the area that it's in.
Right.
I cross over a lot because I'm a mood painter. I paint whatever I'm researching, whatever I'm absolutely fascinated with at the time, and not, okay, now I'm going to do a stream, and now I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do that. It is all about my obsession, really obsessing over a series and learning it to the best of my ability.
You're going to be 2 paintings in the Western Art Roundup
Yes,
here at
I
the Museum
am.
of Western Art in April.
Very excited
So
about that.
that's your first exposure here with our crowd. So we're excited about that. Looking forward to having you do that.
Me too. Very excited about
But
it.
color. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of funny because it
Sky?
doesn't necessarily always find its way into my paintings. I'm a little clumsy with
I thought it'd
with
be
my
green.
blues.
Green was going to be my guess.
Yeah, you'd think so when you look at my work. I do really enjoy finding as many different temperatures and hues of green as I can, really developing them, and the subtleties that are in those silvery greens and against a violet. My favorite color to paint, probably, it's kind of funny because Liz calls it Shanna yellow, is the color of wheat. Her yellow is sunflower yellow, and my yellow is the color of wheat. So that's
I've
probably...
never thought about it. There's a difference, but yeah.
Big difference.
Isn't that something?
Her red is bright red. My red's a little more towards a burnt orange.
Okay, talk about social media real quickly. How do people who are interested in more Shanna Kunz, how do they see or get more
Oh
of
my
your work?
goodness, I'm totally available on social media, a little too much. It's become an evil necessity.
It is.
But I've got a Facebook and an Instagram.
And they find you at?
They can find me at shannakunz.com.
Okay.
I also-
SHANNAKUNZ.com.
I have a mentoring course that I started in June that I'm
was going to ask you about that.
really excited about. They get my full attention 1 day a week for a couple of hours. I have 3 different sessions, and I give them challenges, personal challenges, as well as lecture demos. Right now we're really involved in color theory, and I got a couple of different color theories that I'm putting together to talk about actual color versus perceived color. And I studied color theory, the Joseph Albers method. Very abstract, but all about push and pull of color.
Okay.
Even a tonalist piece has those beautiful little temperature shifts. So that's kind of my fascination with color right now. I'm a little tempered, although I have to say, I just had a show at a Loom Gallery in Montana, and I thought, I took all these pieces up and thought that they were going to be so soft and quiet, and was absolutely blown away at how not quiet they were. There was so much more color than
Really?
I had than I had seen as I was painting them.
You and I came to a realization early on this week that we've overlapped in Montana.
Yes.
When I was the director of the Russell and that whole interesting
Yes.
moment in my life, and you were there in Great Falls at the same time. We have a lot of the same
What a
friends.
fabulous museum that is.
Yeah, that's a great museum. I'm proud to have been a part of it, and proud to, I think, do some good for them when I was there.
Absolutely.
But we'll find out down the road if I quit getting cussed about it, but we'll. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, the C.M. Russell Museum under the leadership of Dwayne Broughton is going to do well. I think.
Absolutely.
So,
They do so much for artists.
and they really do. And
do.
been one of the things that we've tried to do here is be an artist museum.
Oh,
A place,
absolutely.
That's, I think, good museums like the ones that in my world I live in.
Yes.
They really try to be a better artist museum than they are a collector's museum.
I think you might be the common denominator for that.
No, we've tried. I love artists, and we try to make, because without the artist, there's no art. There's no buyer, and there's no.
Yeah.
And we really try to feature living artists. The dead ones don't need our support, but.
And with artists, it's a journey. There's not a regular check coming in. There's moments of indecisiveness, moments of insecurity. I don't care how good you are. There's moments of that. If we didn't have people to support us and to kind of help us along, we wouldn't make it. We would probably have quit a long time ago. But there's beautiful people out there that have supported us. It is the most generous world. Artists are generous people. They're sensitive people. I love the world. I love the people that I work with.
Sounds like you're very home in the art world.
Very home.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Our guest today is Shanna Kunz, a Utah-based artist, landscapist, and painter extraordinaire. And Shanna, it's been fun.
Oh, thank you so much. I've just had a ball. This museum is incredible. Everybody should make it to Kerrville. Come through the permanent collection.
we keep telling the locals they need to come to Kerrville, right? Come to the museum. So
it is a destination. It is an absolute destination.
We appreciate your time and your 3 days here with the workshop. We're going to put a lot of information down at the bottom of the page where people find this on the Hill Country Podcast Network, the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. And we appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
See, it's art. Let's talk about it.
It's art.
It's just not a whole lot to worry about when you're talking about something you truly love. And you seem to really love it.
I do. I love it. I love it every day. Put a brush in my hand, I am in heaven.
Yeah.
The business part of it sometimes gets a little...
Before we get away, talk about that. Business is important.
It is. Business is important. I think an artist that's aspiring to build a career, you really do need a little bit of business experience.
Yeah.
Because you're, as an artist, you're wearing many hats. I love to teach. That's a hat. I have my online course, so I do videos and editing. And I've also had Elizabeth Robbins and I had a gallery together, so we learned how to do marketing and advertising, and there's just so much. I
teach a class every year in the fall, business side of the art world, because I think so many artists just simply don't
have any idea.
Yeah. They're artists. They're not business people, but they're really good ones. And I say, you've either got to be one or you got to get one.
Yep.
You got to get somebody in your world who can help you run that side of it. I think Charlie Russell would have been a drunk cowboy on the side of Montana gully somewhere if it hadn't been for Nancy, his wife, who took care of his business side of it. And so everybody needs that in their world.
My husband helps me quite a bit, too. He makes all my panels, does my framing for me, does my shipping, keeps my inventory. We're a pair.
And his name?
And Marco. His name is Marco.
Marco. Shout out to Marco.
Yeah, it takes both of us. I certainly couldn't do it all by myself.
So, retirement? Are you just going to paint till you can't paint anymore?
I am paint until I can't paint anymore.
I hear that all the time. I hear that all the time from you.
I can't even imagine.
Just quitting.
Yeah, I just can't even imagine.
Stay on the journey with the rest of us and just keep right on going until you can't go
I have
anymore.
moments where I call him up and say, I can't do this ananymore. And he says, yes, you can. And about 15 minutes later, I'm back in the saddle again.
I think we all have that.
Yeah.
What in the world am I doing here? And why would I continue to do it? Because it has its moments. It takes a lot of work to put out pretty objects. And
it is. It's hard work.
As my friend Jason Skull says, meaningful works of art.
Meaningful. Something that says something.
Yeah.
The only reality of art is one person creating something that is so expressive and so beautiful to them.
Right.
And it connecting with someone else who sees their own story in it. All the other things, the shows, the business part of it.
It's a method to get to that.
It's a method to get to that. But it's what you express and what somebody reads into it that is the really only truth to all of it.
That's a great way to put an ending to this. Yeah, it's art. Let's talk about it. Today's guest, Shanna Kunz. And Shanna, on behalf of the staff, crew, and everybody here at the Museum of Western Art, we appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Thanks for
for
joining
asking
us.
me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.